can take a sunrise, sprinkle it with dew, cover it with chocolate and a miracle or two, the Candy Man.
The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship. Your co-host, Tony, Bruce, and the Monty Man.
That's right, and Bruce isn't here, though. Bruce is not here. Bruce is not in the house. Welcome to Take 12 Recovery Radio with Tony, and today, our very special guest, Jack M. Hey, Jack.
Good morning.
Jack
What's
M.
going down, brother?
Another beautiful day in life.
Another beautiful day in life.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Bruce, for those of you who are of the praying nature, could use your prayers. He's at a medical center today. He's either being diagnosed in preparation for this to happen or it's happening today. I'm not sure. But because of severe back and leg issues and so forth, they're going to be injecting him with some medication that actually kills the nerves. Because it's so severe. It kills the nerves. It's not pain medication. It actually destroys the nerve endings from feeling pain or sending signals. Signals.
Yeah. That's still interesting, though.
Very interesting stuff. So he's pretty happy about that. I don't know how happy he'll be after the procedure. But
He probably won't know how to walk after that.
Yeah. He'll be back with us next week if everything goes well. But Jack is here. Tony's here, and Jack is here.
Yo.
Good morning.
And I've known Jack. Gosh, Jack, how many years?
Close to 30 years.
Close to 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You said while. I didn't think it was that while.
Yeah.
I was 12.
You were 12.
Oh, wait, no, 30. Wait, I'm 40. Yeah, I was 12 when y'all met.
Gee willikers.
It has been close to 30 years. We used to go to church together.
Yeah, I was 12.
Yeah.
I would have been 12.
Remember, you got to get around the
Sorry.
microphone when you're talking to her. There you go.
Well, I'm learning.
We have brand new microphones.
Yes, and thank you to the donor. We love you. We love you. We love you. I can't talk yet.
And we'll keep you as anonymous at this point.
It is an anonymous donor. I've been sworn to secrecy. Because of the amount, these mics are extremely expensive. And we were able to get them. These are the Shure SM7Bs. So those of you out there that are privy to that kind of information, you know what I'm talking about. There's only one other microphone that is better, and that's the one that the EIB network uses, the golden microphone that Mr. Rush Limbaugh uses on his talk show, which also many other talking heads use. But this is the next step down from that. And we are very grateful for the donation. Our other mics were beginning to go out on us. We'd had them 12 years. Whenever you send an electrical current through something on a regular basis, it wears on it.
That's right. You said like sandpaper, huh?
Like sandpaper, yeah. And so like the cables are all new. Mm-hmm. So we knew it wasn't the cables. And we were hearing crackling and crunching and all that kind of thing. So
mine would hum.
Yours would hum.
All the time, mine would
Tony's would hum. Ours would crackle. Tony's would hum.
No songs.
No songs. So today's topic, using dreams, forced meetings, and coffee. So let me explain. Using dreams, that's kind of self-explanatory. We're going to be talking about a little bit of the science behind that. Forced meetings would be meetings that perhaps are court-ordered or somebody in your family is giving you an ultimatum.
Yeah.
You know, you go to meetings or you're out of here or, you know, where. In other words, any kind of meeting attendance that, you know, isn't of your own accord, let's say. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to close out with coffee. Coffee. Should 12-step meetings supply coffee? believe it or not, there are meetings that have divided over that issue.
Ours have been one of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Isn't that a trip?
Yeah.
So should they supply coffee? In my personal opinion, they should supply cake and cookies and
chicken nuggets.
So we're going to talk about chicken nuggets.
Protein drinks.
There's that. And if you're expecting us to keep it simple, well, good luck with that.
Especially with these 3 minds in the house today, oh Lord.
That's right. Before we do any of that, though, I want to talk to you about one of our shows that we did like a week and a half ago. It was the 26 top songs. It's 26 countdown.
Oh, yeah.
Of the top drug and alcohol awareness songs of all time. And we did a show. It's 2 hours. Mm-hmm. But it's got the history of the songs, who the songs by, what's the story behind them, and that kind of thing. And that is on our Podomatic page. So if you go to take12recoveryradio.podomatic.com, you can hear that show. Or you just go to take12radio.com and click on Follow Us on Podomatic. Also, I really want to give a shout out to William Borchert. William Borchert is the screenwriter and author of the movie My Name is Bill W. William is over the years has become a very good friend of Take 12 Radios, and he's just a tremendous guy. He also wrote When Love Is Not Enough, the Lois Wilson story, which was on I think the Hallmark Channel a couple of years ago. Maybe not the Hallmark Channel. There was some confusion about that, but that was excellent also. And Winona Ryder played Lois Wilson in that.
Really?
Wow.
Nice.
William and his wife were very close friends with Lois. And he's just a tremendous guy. Well, his new book, How I Became My Father, a Drunk, is the book of the month for July on the largest recovery chat room called In the Rooms in the world. It's the largest one in the world.
That's interesting.
And they got number one placement. And I just wanted to tell you guys that. If you'd like to get his book, if you'd like to get any of his books, you can go to williamborchert.com. That's William. His last name is spelled BORCHERT.com.
Awesome.
He was, if you've heard titles like this, Serpico, Dog Day Afternoon, Bay City Rollers or Bay City Bombers. I can't think of the name. William will correct me on that. And many others, that's William Borchert. He's the one that had his fingers in all that stuff.
Nice.
And co-wrote, wrote, and that kind of thing. Just a heck of a nice guy. So there's that there. And then the other thing that I wanted to tell you about, where is it? Oh, here it is. My friend Brad Mercereau. Brad Mercereau. I'm going to give you the website right away. It's Brad Mercereau, MERSEREAU.com. He wrote me the other day. He was on the show here last year. Hi, Monty. I have infinite respect for your God-centered service and appreciate all assistance this year. We are on track with 289 teen champion participants to achieve our goal of welcoming 300 teens by 12/31/2016. I'll tell you what this is about. It's a Holy Spirit guided interdependent adventure which requires many hands and hearts, yours included. I remain grateful for all assistance as we continue our manage approach to welcoming at least 25 new sobriety pledge participants, teenagers, each year since 2006.
Wonderful.
And so what you do is you go to bradmercereau.com and you can sign the pledge. Your teenager can sign the pledge. And there you can also listen to the show that we did with Brad. It's called Laura's Story. And click on Laura's Mission on that website. Just click on Laura's Mission to hear the interview. And if you want to sign the pledge, just click on Sobriety Pledge.
And what's the pledge for again? I'm sorry.
To abstain.
Oh, nice.
From mind-altering substances.
Nice. Awesome.
Laura was his sister.
Oh, okay.
Laura was a vibrant and love-filled human being who died at the age of 46 due to physical complications from a quarter-century battle with her enemy, the disease of alcoholism. She was able to maintain sobriety and confront her previous denial demons in the final 6 months of her life, but sadly, it wasn't quite enough. And so in memory of her, Brad did this. and he works. Now, you may think that 300 pledges isn't very many, but let me tell you what. Mm-hmm. One means all the difference in the world.
Yep.
And Brad is also a musician, and he's written many songs for television shows and movies, and we don't have time to go into them all. Mm-hmm. But he lives right up here in Portland. So Brad Mercereau, BradMercereau.com. And have your teenager sign the pledge. But don't have them sign it just for the sake of signing it. Understand what the pledge is. Read the pledge, with your teenager. If you're a parent or guardian or grandparent or whatever.
Well, I think I'm going to talk to Kylie tonight since, she went through my story with me and have her pledge.
Yeah, good.
So, yeah.
Good.
It's very important to her.
So there's all that there. Okay, so we're gonna take our first break, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna do a little Take 12 trivia, and then we'll get into the topic, this 3-part topic for this show. And I think we're gonna have some fun with this. I hope we will. Using dreams, force meetings, and coffee. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hey there, this is the Monty Man from Take 12 Recovery Radio, and I'd like to talk to you about Skywood Recovery Center. At Skywood, a residential treatment facility under the beautiful skies of Augusta, Michigan, they can help you rediscover your authentic self in recovery. You may feel like I have in the past, entirely helpless. You may be completely heartbroken, as I have been, over what addiction has done to you and to your family. But the friendly professionals at Skywood Recovery Center firmly believe that everyone has the ability to recover. They believe it because they have seen real healing revive the lives and hearts of so many who were once hopeless and heartbroken. To begin the mending of your broken heart, call 855-317-8377 or visit SkywoodRecovery.com. Skywood Recovery Center is a part of the Foundation's Recovery Network.
Hey guys, this is Richie Supa, and you are listening to Take12Radio.com, recovery talk and positive music.
And now, it's the Quiz of the Week.
Yippee! That's right, everybody. It's time for Take 12 Radio's Quiz of the Week, sponsored by that recovery magazine, the 12-Step Gazette. Visit their website at 12stepgazette.com. Now, here's the Monty Man.
Time to break him in, Monty.
Oh, okay.
Time to break him in.
Breaking in Jack would take 12
break
trivia.
Jack in.
Yeehaw. Here we go. Now listen. Do you even remember the bumper music at the very beginning of the show?
Oh, yeah, the Candyman.
The Candyman.
Yes.
And who sang and wrote the Candyman?
The Candyman.
Yeah.
Part of the Rat Pack.
That's right. It's Mr. Sammy Davis Jr., who hated the song, said it will never make it, and it just flew off the shelves. I didn't like the song either for a long time, but then it grew on me, just kind of like that one you were talking about.
Oh, the Happy Song?
The Happy Song.
Will Ferrell.
Happy, da, 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 da. Yeah. It's just kind of. Yeah. So in celebration of candy, all right, we're going to do a little candy bar trivia.
Ooh.
Okay. Ooh. If you get it right, you'll either hear, or if you get it wrong.
Did he really hate the song?
Yeah, he did not like it. Well, he didn't hate it, but he wasn't that fond of it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know if he wrote it, but he sang it. Can you really hate something you wrote yourself? I suppose so. All right. And so there are 4 questions and a bonus. If you get them all right, you get them all right.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't want a car.
Yeah, no car. All right. Here's number 1. What candy bar was this slogan made for that Bart Simpson used to say, "Nobody better get a finger on my..."
Oh, I already know it. Yep.
All right, you guys got it right. Butterfinger is
Good
the
job.
correct answer. Only 94.7% of people got that answer right.
Wow.
For whatever that's worth. All right. The following slogan was made for which type of candy bar? The Great American Chocolate Bar. I'll give you choices if you'd like.
Yes.
Hershey, Baby Ruth, or Payday?
I'd say Hershey.
Hershey, what do you say, Jack?
Payday.
Payday? Jack says Payday. Can barely hear him, though.
Sorry, Payday, please.
There you go. What'd you say, Tony?
Hershey's.
Hershey? Okay, Tony's correct. Jack, you get the proverbial. Sorry, buddy. It was Hershey bar. Number 3, what candy was this slogan made for? Get the sensation.
Cool Mint.
Is that a candy?
Yeah, you're going to have to be more specific than that. All right. Was it Hershey Chocolate Bar, Milky Way, or Peppermint Patty?
Peppermint Patty.
I'll go with that, too.
You will? Okay, you guys are correct. Yeah. We almost gave you the first one, but not. We're not going to do that. All right. So if you're going to face him, turn your mic so it's pointing towards you.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Sorry.
We got to retrain ourselves on these
I
new
know,
microphones.
these new mics.
They are beautiful, aren't they?
I love them.
They're just beautiful. Okay, here's your bonus. Complete this candy slogan. It's more than a mouthful. It's... Tony. Ignore the woman behind the curtain. It's more than a mouthful. It's...
A big hunk.
Okay, here's your choices. Mr. Goodbar, Baby Ruth, or whatchamacallit.
Whatchamacallit, I don't know.
Baby Ruth.
Whatchamacallit is correct.
Oh!
Sorry, Jack.
I didn't even think I got that one.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Jack, you need to learn your candy better.
I don't eat a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I don't either. But, there we go. You don't have to eat it to know it, right?
No, I don't think so.
That just sounds like a bumper sticker that's wrong on so many levels. All right, we'll be right back right after this with our topics for this week. Don't go away.
Free by the Sea is a drug and alcohol recovery center located in beautiful Ocean Park, Washington. This facility is amazingly gorgeous, but what's even more amazing is the integrity of the staff and the treatment provided for those wishing to recover from narcotic and alcohol addiction. The folks at Free by the Sea have a passion for presenting the solution to addiction for you or your loved one. To speak with an admission specialist, visit freebythesea.com or call toll-free 800-272-9199. This place is simply amazing.
All right, welcome back to the show.
What was that?
That's Riders in the Sky.
Riders in the Sky?
Riders in the Sky by the Outlaws.
I want to be a cowboy.
I want to be a cowboy. I want to be a cowboy. I want to be a cowboy. I want to be a cowboy. Using dreams. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the first part of our three-part topic, using dreams. Ever had a using dream?
Oh, yeah.
Tony?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Were they in close proximity to your sobriety date, or did you have them years later, or do you still have them? Or
the one I actually had was just recently when I went up to before I went up to Kylie's graduation.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even... I was really baffled if it was like real or if it was a dream because I felt so guilty because it felt real. Then I was like, what the hell? I'm here in Albany.
Right.
Where am I going to go to those places? But some of them can really freak you out. I mean, the details in those dreams, the people, the places that, drugs
is it really
or alcohol.
real? Some of them are really real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how mine are. I don't get them often, but when I do, it's so real that I have to sit there like at 2 a.m. or whenever I wake up and be like, okay, discombobble my brain.
Discombobble your brain?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that even fit as a word? But, you have to like sort through it to be like, okay, where am I? Am I here? Am I safe? Am I in jail? Kind of like talk yourself down.
Sure. So let hold the thought about I felt guilty. Hold that thought. Jack, What about you? Using dreams, ever experienced those?
I've only had one using dream, and that was back about a year ago. And it woke me up in the middle of the night. I was in a total panic-stricken mode.
Yeah.
And realized I was home in my own bed. and I hadn't been using.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up the next morning to get ready to go to work, I replayed the dream in my mind and went, wow, this was so real, but I was thankful that it hadn't happened.
Exactly.
So. Yeah. So okay, so you said you felt guilty.
Oh, yeah, I felt guilty all day.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I think it's because when I was using, I actually had to feel, try not to feel guilty or whatever, I'm not quite sure why I felt guilty, but it kind of went away after a while.
Right.
After I figured out I'm home, I'm safe, I don't leave for it to come over for another 2 days,
Right.
But I think it's just your brain's way of reacting to the feelings, I guess, or your vice versa or whatever. You're always going to have feelings of some sort. You're always going to feel guilty even if it's real or not, because that's how you used to feel, I think, all the time.
Well, this is an interesting article by Charles Gillespie, and the references to this. So I can, because this is just right to do this. Brown S. From the book Treating the Alcoholic. Chai S. from Dreams as a Prognostic Factor in Alcoholism, and Progression of Dreams of Crack Cocaine Abusers as a Predator of Treatment Outcome by Reed S. and Simon D. So I just want to put those out there because I need to credit them. But listen to this article. Jean, a client in treatment for substance abuse, came to my group disturbed about the following using dream she had the night before. And this is what she says. I dreamed I was in the cafeteria teaching other patients here how to chop lines of cocaine and snort them.
Oh, wow.
Though she laughed at her dream because of its ridiculous plot, she also wondered what it might mean, if anything, about her recovery. The purpose of this article, don't worry, it's not too long, is to briefly outline some of the clinical research that has been conducted in regard to drug-using dreams in order to benefit clients like Jean. One study, a classic in the field of substance abuse treatment, demonstrates that alcoholics who dream about drinking during the course of treatment tend to achieve longer periods of sobriety. This finding suggests that clients who dream about the substances they are attempting to abstain from may be more engaged in the treatment process. In other words, these clients take their struggle with substance abuse seriously enough to dream about it at night. Interesting. In this way, the drug-using dream may be a positive sign in and of itself. So that's one study. However, a more recent study of crack cocaine addicts who dreamed about drug use demonstrates that dream content is also significant in predicting a positive treatment outcome. Over a 90-day period, clients who report a shift in their dream content from using cocaine to actively refusing the use of cocaine tend to achieve longer periods of abstinence. The findings suggest that readiness for change is reflected in dream content and that dream life can provide clients with an opportunity to rehearse change. For counseling purposes, the importance is not on the individual's dream, but the manner in which the dream content shifts over time.
Wow.
Yeah. Trippy.
That is very,
trippy.
Very
I think
trippy.
For me, it was a direct reflection of my spiritual walk at that moment. I was having a lot of things going on, and
right.
I got away from my spiritual walk. It manifested itself inside my dream state, and then was able to go back and look at it and go, okay, what's going on here? And
sure.
That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. I can understand that.
He's a good Bruce stand-in.
A good Bruce stand-in?
Bring the spiritual side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and let's talk about that some more after we read this other one, because I think it's very
very on
poignant.
key.
Yeah. Let's see here. One particularly useful study of drug-using dreams demonstrates that a client's subjective response to the dream is more important than the dream content in regard to predicting a positive treatment outcome. The subjective responses reported by clients fall into two main categories. One group of individuals experiences frustration that their dream isn't real, and the second group experiences relief that their dream isn't real.
Yeah. Understood.
Yeah. And I would think that probably has a lot to do with what your spiritual condition is at
exactly.
the time. The first group of clients could be described as having relapse pending dreams. This group longs to re-experience intoxication and feels triggered toward drug use. The second group of clients could be described as having recovery-affirming dreams. This group wakes disturbed by their dream and feels repulsed from actual drug use. But clients like Jean, the act of dreaming itself may be a positive sign of engagement with the treatment process. Additionally, her own subjective response to the using dream may help counselors assess her actual readiness for change. And finally, if Jean continues to dream frequently about using, she can be encouraged to note any significant shift in the content of her using dreams, which ideally will reflect her commitment to recovery.
Yes.
That's funny you say that about the counselors, about how they think. And it may be different now, so anybody who's listening, please do not take offense to it. But when I was in treatment, they had using dreams as not the greatest thing, more like acknowledging but not learning anything from it. So listening to you and what you just read, I'm like, oh, it can be used for a positive output.
Yeah.
I never even thought about any of that because I wasn't programmed like that.
And here's the interesting thing. We know that everybody dreams, but not everybody remembers their dreams. So a lot of people think, well, I don't dream. No, you do. You do. Just that many don't remember. Or like there's some I remember, and there's some mornings I wake up, like this morning. If you were to ask me if I dreamed last night, I'd tell you no. Now, I know I did scientifically, but I don't remember it. I don't remember. We also know that the majority of dreams take place in REM sleep, which is usually not too many minutes before you wake up.
Really?
Yeah, they're not these long, drawn-out things. They're only a matter of a very short period of time.
Nice.
Yeah, but when we're dreaming, we think it's hours and that kind of stuff.
But you only normally get into the REM sleep after about 45 minutes of actually being knocked out.
Yes.
Which
is interesting because some people enter REM sleep really quickly. Some people, it can take 30 minutes, can take an hour.
It takes me forever.
It's a little different, you know. But yeah, I think there is something to be said about our spiritual condition. Because remember, we are in the process, those of us in recovery, we're in the process of changing the way we think, or are leaning on God to change the way we think.
Yeah.
Because our thinker's broke.
Yes.
And this is our brain. And we know that the back part of the brain never forgets. It learns very slowly, but it never forgets. And it says, deal with it the way you always dealt with it. The front part of the brain, cause and effect, moral issues, right? Says I touch the iron and I get burned and I don't do that anymore. But when we put substances into our body, the front part of the brain shuts down, because it can't take too much damage. But the back part of the brain takes over and says, well, just, let's go have a good time.
Give me more, give me more.
Yeah. So
our back brain.
So what I tell the guys at Adult and Teen Challenge all the time, I says, what we're here to do is to keep the front part of the brain awake and retrain the back part of the brain.
I agree 100% with that.
Yeah. And so if we're retraining the back part of the brain, which takes a long time, but it starts the day you stop.
That is true.
Your healing begins the day you put the bottle down, the needle down, the spoon down. It starts then, just like a diabetic. The healing starts the day they put down the candy bar.
That's true. That is true.
It starts then, and it takes some time. So that's why we're always saying, a lot of people are I believe in working the steps rather quickly. But as far as application and implementation of those steps, that's a lifetime thing. You got to be doing that.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand.
No.
Even in our out of recovery, people are like, why are you still going? Well, because why do you take medicine for your diabetes,
You can't run today on yesterday's fuel.
Exactly.
And the problem with most that I've seen, even when I first came back into the program, is that I had to accept responsibility. I had to be really truthful and honest with myself and also with my sponsor that these are things I've done in my past.
Right.
And as long as I was not willing to accept that, I was going to go back to that in a heartbeat. But the day that I actually finally acknowledged that I had a problem again, and I had to accept that this is where I was at, and I reached out and said, God, help me, please. I can't do this on my own. There was a loaded 9mm pistol ready for me to go bye-bye. And when I accepted where I was at in life and that things were going to get better, my life has increased day by day. Is it perfect? No. Is it great? No. But you know what? My life is good.
Yeah.
I don't worry about the drugs and the alcohol using anymore. I have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Amen. So if you have a using or drinking dream, it doesn't devastate you.
No.
No.
It reaffirms where my spiritual walk is at and what I need to do to get back on that track.
But I think Tony, the fact that you felt guilty.
Well, and I think that's why, because it's
I mean,
never been reinforced as a positive thing.
Right.
So now I can look at it and be like, okay, at least I know what's going on now. Because I learned something today.
Yeah.
Just because I have a using dream doesn't mean like I'm setting myself up for relapse.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question and be as honest as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
At any point in the process of recovery, did you ever try to get into a using or drinking dream intentionally?
No.
Okay, no. Jack says no.
I don't think so.
You didn't think so?
No, my last using times were absolutely scare me to death. And all I have to do is go back to that last day when I woke up at 2:30 in the morning and the events that happened up to that point. I don't ever want to go back because there is no coming back for me. I will be dead within 30 days.
So why would you want to put yourself in a dream like that?
I noticed that there was two kinds of people here they talked about. One of them was the person that was disappointed that they woke up and were not capable
Oh, I forgot about that one.
And I'm wondering if some people haven't actually, well, I'm going to take a little nap now, and maybe I'll kind of try to get this dream
kind of like a natural high, but not using.
Yeah, I'm not going to use, but, maybe if I dream
about it.
Because we're kind of sick folks, so I can see that. I can see somebody doing that, and I will tell you why. Because there was a couple times I did that early on in my recovery. Well, I can't use, but maybe I can dream about it. And I never did accomplish it. I would there'd be a syringe that was like a gigantic eyedropper. It was I can't even put my arms around it. The thing was so big, and the end of it was all broken off like a broken piece of glass. Things like that. I never could get to that place.
Yeah.
But I was never disappointed that I actually didn't get high in the dream. That's one thing. I never was disappointed. I was always grateful that I didn't.
That's crazy.
You know what's funny about this? This is like the first time you get high, whether it be cocaine or marijuana, so on and so forth, or alcohol. You're always chasing that constant same first feeling.
Yeah.
And with the dream state, that's what you're trying to do again.
You are. You're trying
that
to capture.
True.
You're chasing the thing. Chasing the dragon.
Interesting. This is interesting.
It
Wow.
is interesting.
I never even thought about that. Okay, I need to put that out of my mind because I want to go to bed and have a using dream. I'm kidding. Totally kidding.
Tony just went to sleep.
I know.
All right. So if you have a story of using dreams that you think may be of interest to people, please go to our Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's facebook.com/take12radio, the number 12. And join our group, Take 12 Recovery Radio group, and post it there. What we don't want you to do is to glorify using.
Yeah, don't.
But if you've got an interesting story about that, please feel free to do that. All right, topic number 2. Here we go. Forced meetings. Now, there's a lot of controversy around this issue. There are dyed-in-the-wool, grumpy old-timers, or I should say bleeding deacons, grumpy bleeding deacons, that absolutely don't want any of those guys from treatment coming into these meetings.
That's hilarious.
Or anybody that's court-ordered, because don't you know, unless you want it yourself, you'll never get sober. So there's that kind of attitude. There's another one that's totally on the flip side. It says treatment or, the solution to your addiction issues, whatever they are, does not have to be voluntary to be effective. That's actually a quote from a clinician that I happen to agree with because I've seen people that have gone into treatment or started attending 12-step meetings that were there not by their own, yippee, I want to go, and they recovered. The seed was planted, but not everybody agrees with that. So what is your guys' take? Jack, I'll start with you.
Yeah, let's start with Jack.
Start with me, okay. I believe 100% that there's times where no matter what you do, that somebody has to take you by the hand and guide you. And court-ordered admissions into these programs, whether it be a recovery program or not, sometimes that's what it takes. I mean, because there's a lot of folks out there that you can show them everything and say you're on your own, and they're never going to survive. And the other ones, they'll go to a recovery program, 90 days, and they'll come out and say, I'll give it 90 days, and they keep on going. They get it programmed in their life, say, there is something here, and they stick around, and they wind up getting 10, 15, 20 years of sobriety.
We hear those stories all the time.
Yes, and I know a couple of them right now.
Yeah. Imagine that.
I'm Baby New Year in the room. Okay?
But myself, for me, recovery was not going to a 12-step program outside of AA itself. Going to a drug and alcohol program was not an option I had. Sorry about that.
There you go. That's right.
Going to one of these clinics or something to that effect, all the other ones at work, was not a thing that was going to work for me. This was, I had to go straight to the program itself, the spiritual walk had to come first and foremost for me, because otherwise I was going to be back out there and I was going to be gone. I'd never come back.
Right, right. So, Tony, what do you think about people that are court-ordered or given ultimatums by loved ones and that to go to meetings?
Well, I'm one of those court-ordered ones. I didn't want to get sober. I really didn't. But after time, I don't even know when the seed was planted, but look where I'm at now,
Sure.
And it's different because the way they teach okay, let me say this correctly so I don't step on toes.
Oh, you can step on toes on this
what
show.
they teach you in treatment and what they teach you in AA, when you're new and you're done with one and just sticking to the other, you really have to deprogram yourself to a point. I mean, and the seed,
depending
I think
on the meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you go to a meeting and you hear stuff, you're like, why didn't they tell me that? And they're, what the hell are you guys talking about? That's not what I heard. So you kind of don't pick what you want to hear to make your own program, but you have to just sit there and listen and just absorb everything. I did not hear anything for my first 6 months at all in meetings. When I was done with Serenity Lane, I didn't hear a thing.
Did anybody make the approach to you within that time to sponsor you?
One person, and actually it was from group 1, and it was actually the last time, and right before I relapsed last time. And I'm still grateful for her. I still talk to her to this day. I love her so much, and she knows who she is. But that's the only one who approached me. I think the last person, or who's my sponsor now, we met in treatment, and I think if I didn't have her, and we both kind of graduated treatment around the same time, she helped me with the outside world. I think you need not just maybe a sponsor, but somebody close to you to help you figure out, okay, they say this here, but in AA they're saying something different. And it is somewhat the same, but it's two different worlds. Right. Two different lifestyles.
Right. So in treatment, because, and the founders knew this also well. Before we were inundated with so many treatment facilities, we weren't like we were back then. Back then, it was the insane asylum, or a detox center and a rundown hospital, But they knew that many of us were going to need more help than just sitting around drinking bad coffee, and they knew that. In the NA literature, there's a statement that I really like. It says, the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. That is very, very true.
Yeah.
That is assuming that the other addict knows and has experienced the solution. Exactly. That is not saying two addicts sitting around using are going to get themselves sober. But, excuse me. But so treatment programs that are worth their weight, in my opinion, have a 12-step model.
Yep.
Have at least a year aftercare model.
Yes.
And they're not just calling you up and saying, are you sober?
Yeah, no, that's how...
I mean, they're seeing you eyeball to eyeball, that kind of thing. And they're on board with you doing the meeting attendance thing. Now, we know that meetings by themselves aren't going to keep anybody sober any more than, going to the bowling alley and sitting around talking about bowling balls are going to, but we do know that there is a therapeutic value going on there amongst people of like mind. Yeah. True?
Very true.
Yeah. So we're not going to hear some of the solutions to maybe some of our co-occurring mental health issues in a 12-step meeting. We are going to hear some of that at the treatment center.
Yeah.
And if the treatment center is being compliant to the courts, because the courts have ordered you to treatment and said, if you do not comply with treatment, then we're going to violate you. And treatment says, okay, now you also have to attend these meetings and so forth. Yeah. There's a lot of people that get up in arms about that, saying that you're mixing the government with, but people are getting sober. People are staying sober and lives are being changed. True?
Oh, and that's true. And in Serenity Lane, they're amazing. They teach a lot of but I didn't mean they didn't teach anything at all, because they helped me tons. And I still, like, this Thursday, I'm going to go speak at a panel here in Albany.
Right.
And, they're my best friends. They taught me everything.
Yay.
But they do have not only just state guidelines and, federal guidelines, but they do teach you how to stay sober. It's to each person if they want to really adhere to that.
Yeah.
And like when my counselor's boot's still stuck up my butt and she knows who she is, Carol, I love you. And if it wasn't for her scaring the crap out of me the last time,
right,
she didn't scare me to be sober, but it made me start to listen and adhere to what they're saying.
Jack, what do you think is the reason that some people get really uncomfortable when they find out that somebody's there because treatment required them to be, or a relative or a court did? Why do you think people get all up in arms about that?
I think a large portion of it is the fact that you had to have somebody say, you're going to be here, and you're going to sit here for an hour of your day, and you can be disruptive, and you're not going to take this serious.
Yep.
When you have a lot of folks that are in there because this is a life or death situation, and that this is the only way they're going to stay sober. These other folks that come in, they don't care. They're there because they're being directed by a court order system, and they would just want to appease somebody, family, friends, the courts, and the counselor. But those folks that come in on their own volition on a daily basis and spend the time, they do the walk, they put in the time in the books, they put in time with their sponsors, those are the folks that really want it. And eventually sometimes those folks that come in by court order, they'll get it. They'll see a little bit of inspiration, go, I wonder what that person has. And hopefully by setting a good example, they'll want to come back on their own.
So if they hadn't have been there, even if they didn't want to be, they would never had the opportunity to witness what you just said.
Correct.
So it's a good thing they're there.
It depends on where they want to go with it. If they're actually going to take it serious and don't want to go back out, it's a wonderful thing. Lead by example.
Exactly. Live by example.
You said a key word. You said sometimes, and I agree with that. You said sometimes, they don't care and so forth, because sometimes they do. A lot of people have been court ordered. That was just a condition of their probation, but they would have gone anyway. They really do want to be there, but somebody finds out about their paperwork, and they go, "Well, obviously you don't want to be here because you're court ordered." No, not so. I was coming to meetings before I ever was court ordered. Right. I came on my own in Stockton, California years ago. But then there came a time when there was a relapse and the court ordered me to. But my wanting to be there didn't change. I did want to be there. Yeah. But as soon as somebody found out I was court ordered, they made the assumption that I didn't want to be there. And they made me feel kind of, like I started not wanting to be there because the way they were treating me. Thank goodness this is... in the last 80 some odd years or whatever, this thing's been going on, meetings have grown, and you can pick another meeting if you want to. I was able to do that because I was living in Oregon and I had to leave a meeting and found the one that years ago that's like the biggest one here in town. But I've noticed people, we kind of get a little kind of a haughty attitude sometimes, because I'm putting $1 in every week. I'm going every day. And by God, don't step on my right to be here because you're court ordered. Sometimes people can get like that.
See, and I hope I never notice that in a meeting because my Italian mouth can't stay shut sometimes.
Well, you don't ever speak too much. Your hands are always doing the
I know. I always talk. My hands talk for me. I honestly don't know what I would do if I ever saw that in one of our meetings.
In all actuality, I
would go nuts.
I love the folks that come in on their own.
Yeah.
And I love the folks that come in because they're court ordered, because they see, and I've seen it time and time again. They come back, like, I need this, but I don't know how to do it. And you take them by the hand and say, this is how I've done it. And you work with them.
Yeah.
And then you see the light shine and start to work.
And,
and you see them start to do the same thing you did, which my sponsor helped me do.
Yeah. So when you think about it, what is the percentage of people that literally woke up one morning and said, this is what I voluntarily want to do with my life, yippee, yay, cow patty. I want to go to an AA or an NA or whatever A meeting. That's what I'm doing it. I'm voluntarily going. I really want to go there. I'm so excited. I don't think there's many people that really wanted to do that.
No.
You know
Less than 1%.
So whether it's a nudge of the judge or a nudge of maybe your own conscience or whatever, I fought it. My first meeting, I went on my own accord, but I was fighting it. I was scared to death. I almost turned around and walked off before I walked in the door. It was only by the power of a loving God that kind of gave me that nudge to get in there. But did any of us really, really choose to do this because we thought it'd be so much fun?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at that. It's just every time I hear that, it's funny because you're right. There's nobody that wakes up saying, woohoo, I'm going to AA. I'm going to NA. I'm going to treatment. Party on. Like, nobody does that. Who does that?
No, I didn't.
And if you do, Facebook me because I would really love to know who you are.
No, I don't think anybody ever wakes up saying, I'm an alcoholic and I need to go, or I'm an addict and I need to go to NA. It finally comes down to the point you have, for me, acceptance, honesty, saying, I need help. I could not do this on my own.
Or getting caught by the feds like me.
Or, the drunk driving or all these other things and the chaos and total making a mess of my life. I mean, for my family couldn't control me. I couldn't control myself. Didn't lose everything, but I did lose my children. I almost lost my home. I've lost jobs. I've lost family. And slowly through the program itself, I have been recovering my family.
Yeah.
And it's been a wonderful experience to have family say, hey, Uncle Jack, or to meet family you've never met before because I was never present. I was gone for so long.
They didn't want you around.
No, I didn't want to be around. I was alone. I was isolated, and I was terrified of what I was becoming. When I woke up that morning on my last using day or next day, I was terrified, and I was bewildered what was going on with me. I had the shakes. I had all these other complications going on, and it scared me to death. And I finally reached out and said, I need a helping hand.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it marvelous? Because we can not only recover from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body, we can recover all sorts of things besides that.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a book years ago called Will the Real Phony Please Stand Up? And,
is there really?
Yeah, and in it there was a statement that says, when you catch the ball outside of the end zone, you get the game the way it is, not the way it was.
Yeah.
And then it continued to say, because if you just leave it there, that's kind of depressing. And it says, the good news is you can get it back better.
Yes.
That sounds so familiar for some reason.
Yeah.
I probably heard it somewhere.
I've said it before.
Probably.
And the deal of it is, haven't you ever watched a game where your team was just so far behind, you thought, you know what, I might as well pack it up and go home because they're done. And then something happens, and bam!
That's a good analogy.
Yeah,
they're way ahead of the opposing team.
I'm using that on my next sponsor.
Completely hopelessness. And, I look at my house. I'm in the process of a complete remodel, and the 12-step program, working my life is kind of the same way. It's a complete remodel of the inside and outside and the spiritual walk that goes along with it. It's phenomenal. I mean, the things that are coming back in my life, I cannot believe. My life is better today than it's ever been in my entire life. Not perfect, but you know what? It's better.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, the analogy of the house, because some of us would like to say, that phrase, I'd rather, see a sermon anytime than listen to one.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, if you're just doing the inside and you're not allowing the outside to change too.
Exactly.
I mean, look at a house.
Yeah.
You could remodel the entire inside, but the outside looks like a shack from the bayou.
And then you judge.
Who's going to want to hang out with that?
Exactly.
But it also goes back to laying a proper foundation.
There you go.
A proper foundation of...
None of it's going
to... Of the Bible and the big book, you're not going to have any of it. It's all going to fall to the wayside, and it's going to be on sandstone.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. All right. Topic number 3. Coffee.
Oh, baby.
Coffee. Now, I happen to enjoy my coffee. I'm kind of a coffee hoarder of sorts. I have my own grinder. I have my own, cappuccino machine. I have a cupboard. When I got my cappuccino machine, I took over one full cupboard in the kitchen without my wife's permission.
And he does not share.
I have my own cupboard of my K-cups.
Oh, do you?
It has its own.
Yeah, yeah. So I will be honest with you, and I will tell you that I have been very disappointed on occasion I mean, it doesn't ruin my day or my meeting. When I've walked into my favorite 12-step meeting and they were either out of coffee or didn't have, it wasn't made yet or there wasn't any, I thought, oh, man. Because just like my cigarettes used to go with my meetings years ago, coffee just kind of goes with my meetings.
You got to have the coffee. I'm sorry.
Having said that, though, should 12-step meetings assume the responsibility of making sure there is coffee on board? What do you guys think?
You know how much lashback we're going to get from this?
Oh, I know.
Not of the first two subjects, but of the coffee. I think it's important because you figure you sat around drinking beers. Why not sit around drinking coffee?
But is it the responsibility of the group to provide coffee?
I don't think it's a responsibility. I think it's just been...
Tradition?
Tradition. Thank you. Yeah.
What do you think there, Jack?
Well, I think tradition for one, but there's a lot of people come in. They're coming out from out in the cold, and they want something warm, and they're probably been drinking too. And allows them something to warm up their hands, and they listen to the meeting and go, wow, there's something here, and they come back the next day still drunk. But what I've seen...
It's kind of a tool, then.
Yeah.
It's a tool. It's a kind of like draw you in, and sure, the funds are there to help promote AA and the spiritual walk. And if coffee is one of those things that brings somebody back in, so be it.
What if I don't like coffee? I just like hot chocolate.
Well, then you take a vote, go there, sit at the business meeting, say, let's buy.
That's what I was going to say.
Sit at a business meeting and say, let's provide cocoa also.
Actually, Group 1 usually has packets of cocoa somewhere, at least they used to, or tea.
We have tea, we have coffee. Sometimes I bring cocoa in, depending if it's on a good price or not, because I do supplies.
Right. So there are some people that say absolutely, and every once in a while this will come up in a business meeting, in whatever meeting you go to. I guarantee it. Somebody will say, you know what? I don't think, we're hurting for literature. We're not going to be buying coffee this month. I get that.
Yeah.
Because the program, which is the literature, is the most important piece.
Yeah.
But as far as, material objects go, but I'm kind of thinking along the lines of you guys. I kind of think it's a very, tradition, and it's a very useful tool. Whether it's tea, coffee, cocoa, I think it is a useful tool. I'd hate to see a meeting go without coffee, and I've sprung for coffee before.
Oh, yeah.
I brought a case of Folgers in, like 6 cans or whatever. Not everybody can do that, and I certainly can't all the time, but I've done it before.
Yes. Yeah. And I do it for both my meetings I go to. I bring coffee all the time. The other one, they don't fund me, but I don't care. It's not much it's called the Grocery Depot, but I call it something else.
I go to Grocery Outlet Farm. No, how's that song go? Grocery Outlet Bargain Market.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think coffee is not mandatory, but it could be that one thing somebody hasn't had all day, like a meal or, a beverage, something just life-changing. As little as coffee can be that.
Jack?
But it also falls in the same category as tissue. I mean, we have boxes of tissue at Albany Group 1 here that are available for anybody to use. When you start crying or you're sniffling, should we have to provide that?
Right.
Kind of falls in the same category as coffee.
It's kind of a what's the word?
Kind of like the men on the pillow in the hotel.
Yeah. It's kind of a courtesy.
Yes, it is.
There you go. That's a good word.
Yeah.
Courtesy.
What's wrong with a courtesy?
Nobody likes it these days.
Although I was in a meeting not too many years ago, somebody handed somebody a Kleenex, and somebody got all upset about it. Because I guess it's a treatment, in some treatment, not all, but it's a treatment thing that if you hand somebody a Kleenex when they're blowing snot all over the place and tears are coming out of their eyes, you interrupt the grieving process. And I'm like, you know what?
What? I'm
not a medical professional. I'm not. I'm a registered interventionist, but I'm not a licensed CADA counselor. I'm not going to tell you that.
Horse pucky.
I'm like if I can't clean up my nose and my ears, please somebody hand me a tissue.
I want to meet some of these people who say some of this stuff that comes out your mouth, because I'll be like, really. And not even in our treatment center did they ever think that way. That baffles me. The thought of some people just baffle me.
Baffle.
Oh God. Lord, I'm going to need a meeting after this.
So bring on the coffee. Now there are actually I've actually heard this, not much, but a little bit. Well, coffee is a drug.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
You know, I mean, where do you draw the line of ridiculousness, though? You know what I'm saying?
I think people reach sometimes.
Oh,
they just want to be the preachers and hear themselves talk and just.
I think people reach.
Dude, like, just stop.
I will tell you,
there's enough.
In my energy drink days,
see that
I was sitting in a meeting, and he wasn't my sponsor, Dave B, who I've known for a long, long time. He's a real estate agent, actually. Mm-hmm. Was sitting next to me, and I had these two Joker energy drinks, and I would bring two of them, the big tall ones, every night. Mm-hmm. It became a habit, and I'd bring them, and I'd drink both of them. And one day he just wrote on a matchbook cover, and he slid it over to me, and I opened it up and says, "Are we drinking for the effect?" And I thought, you know what? Busted.
Yeah.
Sugar addiction.
Yeah. But aren't we drinking for the effect when we drink coffee?
Yeah, true.
Maybe you are. Maybe
tomato,
you aren't.
Maybe you're not. Maybe you really do enjoy the taste of bitter beans.
See,
I'm not kidding. Maybe
no, because I am one of them. I love coffee.
Right. I love coffee too. Mm-hmm. You know,
as long as it's good coffee.
Yeah, as long as it's good. Not everybody's drinking coffee to get a buzz. Some people drink coffee because they like the coffee. Yeah. I don't know. We could open up a whole nother can of worms there. Somebody could start saying that about beer,
NyQuil
too.
Issue, yeah. That's different.
NyQuil comes with its own shot glass, though, and they do sell it after 2 a.m.
Okay, I will say I tried that once. Never again. In my late drinking days near the end, I tried that once, and I threw up, and I'm like, how can anybody do that? Horrible.
I got my taste
Horrible.
of that. I got my taste of that when I was in the military because we were in basic training, and they allowed us to go to the commissary to pick up a few items and NyQuil, and we've been 6 weeks without anything. And I'm okay, so I bought 3 or 4 bottles of it and down them. Oh, my. Nasty stuff.
Wow. You're a rock star, buddy. Oh, my goodness. All right. So don't forget the 26 top drug and alcohol awareness songs of all time. It's a countdown. It starts with number 26, goes to number 1. It's a great show. Go to take12radio.com and click on Follow Us on Podomatic, and it'll be there. Also, don't forget to go to William Borchardt's site, WilliamBorchert.com, and check out his site, all about his movies and his book, How I Became My Father a Drunk, the featured book in July on In the Rooms. Check that out, and please go visit Brad Mercero's website and sign the pledge at BradMersereau.com and get your team to sign the sobriety pledge there. All right, our song for this week is by my friend Jeff Bates.
Oh.
And this is an amazing song. See if you can see how early you pick it up, who he's talking about here. And we're going to close out with this. Check it out. It's called He Wasn't Like Us.
We didn't know for sure, but everybody said that old boy ain't right in the head, he's a little slow. We'd hide in the bushes not making a sound. When he'd walk by, we'd push him down on that dirt road. I was just as guilty as my friends. We had a lot of laughs at his expense. He wasn't like us, he wasn't cool. He'd just smile even while we were being cruel. He stood out, he didn't fit in, but we kept throwing the stones. No, we didn't let up on him. He never said a mean word, no, he never even made a fuss. He wasn't like us. Later on he made a name in our town for hanging out and running around with the rough crowd. They were boozers and losers and low-class broads, but he saw good in them nobody else saw, and he brought it out. Then the rumors started flying that he was some kind of holy man. But we set him straight and told him to his face he was a crazy man. He wasn't like us. He wasn't cool. He just smiled even while we were being cruel. He stood out. He didn't fit in. But we kept throwing the stones. No, we didn't let up on him. He never said a mean word. No, he never even made a fuss. He wasn't like us. Well, I remember the day he got in trouble with the law. They cussed him and kicked him and mocked him and whipped him. Then they nailed him to the cross. He wasn't like us. He didn't fit in. And I fell down on my knees and wept for him. He never said a mean word. No, he never even made a fuss. He never did nothing wrong. All he ever did was love. He wasn't like us. He wasn't like us.
Special thanks to Jack for joining us today. This is the crew wishing you God's perfect serenity for each and every one of you. Bye-bye now.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty, 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 kitty.